When does a federal election have to be held under legislation passed by Parliament? A. When the Queen wants to replace the Prime Minister. B. Within 4 years of the most recent election. C. Within 5 years of the last election. D. The Prime Minister can call the election anytime, at his own will. The answer is B. Within 4 years of the most recent election. Question 2. Which of the following is the federal government responsible for? A. Highways. B. Natural resources. C. Education. D. Interprovincial trade and communications. The answer is D. Interprovincial trade and communications. Question 3. What was the name of the new country formed in Confederation? A. Britain. B. Canada. C. Canadian Confederation. D. Dominion of Canada. The answer is D. Dominion of Canada. Question 4. Where do more than half of the people in Canada live? A. Coastal Pacific. B. Atlantic Canada. C. Prairies. D. Central Canada. The answer is D. Central Canada. Question 5. Who let Quebec into Confederation? A. Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine. B. Sir Georges-Étienne Cartier. C. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. D. Sir John A. Macdonald. The answer is B. Sir Georges-Étienne Cartier. Question 6. In World War II, in which aspect did Canada contribute more to Allied air effort than any other Commonwealth country? A. Trained 130,000 Allied air crew. B. Deployed paratroopers in France. C. Provided ammunition. D. Sent 130,000 soldiers to take France back from the Germans. The answer is A. Trained 130,000 Allied air crew. Question 7. How can a party in power be defeated in Parliament? A. If there is a revolution. B. If the Queen orders the party to resign. C. If a majority of the MPs vote against a major government decision. D. If a minority of the MPs vote against a major government decision. The answer is C. If a majority of the MPs vote against a major government decision. Question 8. Which of the followings are the responsibilities of provincial government? A. Education, healthcare, natural resource and policing. B. Nation defense, healthcare, citizenship and firefighting. C. Education, foreign policy, natural resource and policing. D. Nation defense, foreign policy, highways and Aboriginal affairs. The answer is A. Education, healthcare, natural resource and policing. Question 9. What was the Underground Railroad? A. An anti-slavery network that helped thousands of slaves escape the United States and settle in Canada. B. A railroad through the Rockies that was mainly through mountain tunnels. C. A network fur traders used to transport beaver pelts to the United States. D. The first underground subway tunnel in Toronto. The answer is A. An anti-slavery network that helped thousands of slaves escape the United States and settle in Canada. Question 10. Which region covers more than 1/3 of Canada? A. Northern Territories. B. South Region. C. North Region. D. Southern Territories. The answer is A. Northern Territories. Question 11. What is the name of the Royal Anthem of Canada? A. Great Canada. B. O Canada. C. God Save the Queen, or King. D. O Canada. The answer is C. God Save the Queen, or King. Question 12. What is the primary role of the police in Canada? A. To resolve disputes and interpret law. B. To keep people safe and to enforce the law. C. To provide national security intelligence to the government. D. To conduct or support land warfare, peacekeeping, or humanitarian missions. The answer is B. To keep people safe and to enforce the law. Question 13. Which province has the most bilingual Canadians? A. British Columbia. B. Quebec. C. Ontario. D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is B. Quebec. Question 14. Which province is one of the most productive agricultural regions in the world? A. Manitoba. B. Saskatchewan. C. British Columbia. D. Alberta. The answer is B. Saskatchewan. Question 15. When is Canada Day? A. November 5th every year. B. July 1st every year. C. June 30th every year. D. July 31st every year. The answer is B. July 1st every year. Question 16. In what year did Canada become a country? A. 1867. B. 1687. C. 1786. D. 1678. The answer is A. 1867. Question 17. What are the two official languages of Canada? A. Inuktitut and English. B. French and Inuktitut. C. English and French. D. Mandarin and English. The answer is C. English and French. Question 18. Where is Canada located? A. Central America. B. Europe. C. North America. D. South America. The answer is C. North America. Question 19. Can you name 5 Great Lakes between Canada and the U.S.? A. Lake Toronto, Lake Michigan, Lake Mexico, Lake Ontario, Lake St. Louis. B. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. C. Lake Michigan, Lake Victoria, Lake Mexico, Lake Ontario, Lake St. Louis. D. None of the above. The answer is B. Lake Superior, Lake Michigan, Lake Huron, Lake Erie, Lake Ontario. Question 20. What do you call the Queen's representative in the provinces? A. Governor-Lieutenant. B. Queen's Governor. C. Lieutenant Governor. D. Governor-General. The answer is C. Lieutenant Governor. Question 21. How are members of Parliament chosen? A. Elected by senators. B. Elected by the Prime Minister. C. Chosen by the Queen. D. Elected by Canadian citizens. The answer is D. Elected by Canadian citizens. Question 22. In what jobs did the Métis first work with European settlers? A. Supplies, traders, guides and interpreters. B. Taking care of children. C. Building housing. D. Fishing. The answer is A. Supplies, traders, guides and interpreters. Question 23. What does the National Register of Electors contain? A. Database of landed immigrants. B. Database of Canadian citizens, at least 18 years of age, who are qualified to vote in federal elections and referendums. C. Database of all Canadian citizens. D. Database of Canadian taxpayers. The answer is B. Database of Canadian citizens, at least 18 years of age, who are qualified to vote in federal elections and referendums. Question 24. What was the main advantage of NAFTA agreement? A. Free trade among Canada, the USA, and Mexico. B. Free trade between Canada and China. C. Free trade between Canada and the UK. D. Free trade between Canada and Japan. The answer is A. Free trade among Canada, the USA, and Mexico. Question 25. Who are the Métis? A. The distinct Aboriginal people of Atlantic Canada. B. A people of mixed Inuit or First Nations ancestry, most of whom live on the prairies. C. First Nations people speaking the Michif dialect. D. A distinct people of mixed Aboriginal and European ancestry. The answer is D. A distinct people of mixed Aboriginal and European ancestry. Question 26. Which act granted, for the first time in Canada, legislative assemblies elected by the people? A. The Constitutional Act of 1982. B. The Constitutional Act of 1891. C. The Constitutional Act of 1791. D. The Constitutional Act of 1972. The answer is C. The Constitutional Act of 1791. Question 27. Who appoints the judges of the Supreme Court of Canada? A. The Governor-General. B. The Prime Minister. C. Other judges. D. The people. The answer is A. The Governor-General. Question 28. What does the Crown mean for Canadians? A. The Crown is a symbol of government, including Parliament, legislatures, courts, police services, and the armed forces. B. The Crown contains symbols of England, France, Scotland, and Ireland, as well as red maple leaves. C. A national motto,
Amare Asquad Mare,
which, in Latin, means from sea to sea. D. The Crown reflects the Greco-Roman heritage of Western civilization, in which democracy originated. The answer is A. The Crown is a symbol of government, including Parliament, legislatures, courts, police services, and the armed forces. Question 29. What did the suffrage movement achieve? A. Quebec experienced an era of rapid change. B. The suffrage movement abolished slavery in Canada. C. The suffrage movement led to the introduction of employment insurance. D. Women achieved the right to vote. The answer is D. Women achieved the right to vote. Question 30. When did settlers from France first establish communities on the St. Lawrence River? A. Late 1600s. B. Early 1700s. C. Late 1700s. D. Early 1600s. The answer is D. Early 1600s. Question 31. Which region is known as the industrial and manufacturing heartland of Canada? A. Atlantic provinces. B. Prairie provinces. C. Central Canada. D. West Coast. The answer is C. Central Canada. Question 32. What types of jobs are provided by service industries? A. Communications and retail services. B. Transportation and education. C. Tourism and government. D. All answers are correct. The answer is D. All answers are correct. Question 33. With which words does the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms begin? A. Canadian citizens have rights and responsibilities. B. O Canada, our home and native land. C. Canada is a free country and home of the braves. D. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. The answer is D. Whereas Canada is founded upon principles that recognize the supremacy of God and the rule of law. Question 34. Which of the following is not a responsibility of Canadian citizens? A. Learning to speak both official languages. B. Voting in elections. C. Obeying the law. D. Taking responsibility for oneself and one's family. The answer is A. Learning to speak both official languages. Question 35. What do Canadians remember on Remembrance Day? A. Canadian victory in World War I. B. Canadian victory in Battle of Vimy Ridge. C. Canadian victory in World War II. D. Sacrifices made by Canadian veterans and brave soldiers in wars. The answer is D. Sacrifices made by Canadian veterans and brave soldiers in wars. Question 36. Why was the Canadian Pacific Railway built? A. The railway made it possible for immigrants to settle in the central Canada. B. British Columbia joined Canada in 1871 after Ottawa promised to build a railway to the west coast. C. To provide a spectacular tourist excursion across precipitous passes and bridges. D. So British Columbia could handle trade of goods worth billions of dollars all around the world. The answer is B. British Columbia joined Canada in 1871 after Ottawa promised to build a railway to the west coast. Question 37. Why is trade with other countries important to Canada? A. Trade with other countries changed the native way of life forever. B. To increase the trade and enjoy one of the world's highest standards of living. C. Canada has become a member of the World Trade Organization. D. The French and Aboriginal people collaborated with Canada in the vast fur trade economy. The answer is B. To increase the trade and enjoy one of the world's highest standards of living. Question 38. Which of the following best describes the role of the Queen in Canada? A. To make important decisions about how the country is governed. B. To peacefully oppose or try to improve government proposals. C. To run the federal government departments. D. To focus on citizenship and allegiance, be a symbol of Canadian sovereignty, and a guardian of constitutional freedoms. The answer is D. To focus on citizenship and allegiance, be a symbol of Canadian sovereignty, and a guardian of constitutional freedoms. Question 39. What does it mean to say Canada is a constitutional monarchy? A. The sovereign, queen or king, approves bills before becoming law. B. The sovereign, queen or king, represents Canadians in Parliament. C. Canada's head of state is a hereditary sovereign, queen or king, who reigns in accordance with the Constitution. D. The sovereign, queen or king, is the lawmaker of Canada. The answer is C. Canada's head of state is a hereditary sovereign, queen or king, who reigns in accordance with the Constitution. Question 40. When is Remembrance Day celebrated? A. July 1st. B. October 6th. C. November 11th. D. November 20th. The answer is C. November 11th. Question 41. What are the provinces of Central Canada? A. Ontario and Quebec. B. Ontario and Alberta. C. Quebec and New Brunswick. D. Alberta and Saskatchewan. The answer is A. Ontario and Quebec. Question 42. Where do the majority Métis live in Canada? A. Central Canada. B. The North. C. Prairie Provinces. D. The Maritimes. The answer is C. Prairie Provinces. Question 43. What country is Canada's largest trading partner? A. China. B. The United States of America. C. The United Kingdom. D. Mexico. The answer is B. The United States of America. Question 44. Which two fundamental freedoms are protected by the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? A. Freedom of belief and freedom of religion. B. Equal employment rights and opportunities. C. Basic living rights and obey laws. D. Aboriginal people's rights and to volunteer. The answer is A. Freedom of belief and freedom of religion. Question 45. What do the initials MP stand for in Canadian politics? A. Member of Parliament. B. Minister of Parliament. C. Member of the Patriots. D. Master of the Province. The answer is A. Member of Parliament. Question 46. Which was the last province to join Canada? A. Prince Edward Island. B. Manitoba. C. Newfoundland. D. Yukon. The answer is C. Newfoundland. Question 47. Who are the Aboriginal peoples in Canada? A. The first settlers of Newfoundland. B. The first European settlers to arrive in Canada. C. The descendants of the first Australian immigrants to Canada. D. The first inhabitants of Canada. The answer is D. The first inhabitants of Canada. Question 48. What does the term responsible government mean? A. Each person in each electoral district is responsible for voting. B. The Governor-General is responsible for the actions of the Prime Minister. C. The ministers of the Crown must have the support of a majority of the elected representatives in order to govern. D. All Canadians are responsible for each other. The answer is C. The ministers of the Crown must have the support of a majority of the elected representatives in order to govern. Question 49. Which province is Canada's main producer of pulp and paper? A. Quebec. B. British Columbia. C. Saskatchewan. D. Ontario. The answer is A. Quebec. Question 50. What should you do if you do not receive a voter information card before an election? A. Call your local municipality. B. Turn up at your nearest polling station on election day. C. You should assume you were not chosen to vote. D. Contact Election Canada. The answer is D. Contact Election Canada. Question 51. What are the parties that are not in power called? A. Tea parties. B. Opposition parties. C. Rival parties. D. Opponents parties. The answer is B. Opposition parties. Question 52. Which of the following is the oldest colony of British Empire in Canada? A. Quebec. B. Ontario. C. Alberta. D. Newfoundland and Labrador. The answer is D. Newfoundland and Labrador. Who is the Queen's representative in Canada? A. The Premier. B. The Prime Minister's spouse. C. The Governor-General of Canada. D. The Prime Minister. The answer is C. The Governor-General of Canada. Question 54. Which of the following are the responsibilities of Canadian citizenship? A. Protect the Canadian environment and vote in elections. B. Obey the law, find work in the government and serve in Canadian Army. C. Serve in the Canadian Army, obey the law and take responsibilities for oneself and one's family. D. Obey the law, serve on a jury, vote in elections and help others in the community. The answer is D. Obey the law, serve on a jury, vote in elections and help others in the community. Question 55. Which region of Canada is known for its fertile agricultural land and energy resources? A. Central Canada. B. Quebec. C. Prairie provinces. D. Maritime provinces. The answer is C. Prairie provinces. Question 56. Why are the Great Lakes important to Canada? A. They provide water for irrigation. B. They provide fresh water and waterways. C. They provide waterways. D. They are tourist attractions. The answer is B. They provide fresh water and waterways. Question 57. Which province in Canada is the smallest in land size? A. British Columbia. B. Prince Edward Island. C. Alberta. D. New Brunswick. The answer is B. Prince Edward Island. Question 58. Who was the first person to draw a map of Canada's east coast? A.
Jean Talon.
B. Georges Cartier. C. John Cabot. D. Jacques Cartier. The answer is C. John Cabot. Question 59. If you cannot pay for a lawyer, how can you get legal help? A. Borrow money from the government and pay for the lawyer. B. Go to legal aid services in most communities. C. Apply for financial aid from the government to pay for legal fees. D. Do not go to a court. The answer is B. Go to legal aid services in most communities. Question 60. What is a polling station? A. Place where you vote. B. Campaign offices for candidates. C. Place where the number of votes are counted. D. Member of Parliament's constituency. The answer is A. Place where you vote. Question 61. What is a cabinet minister? A. Candidate picked by the Prime Minister. B. MP picked by the Premier of each province. C. MP selected by the Prime Minister to run federal departments. D. MP selected by the Queen to make laws. The answer is C. MP selected by the Prime Minister to run federal departments. Question 62. Who discovered insulin? A. Dr. Wilder Penfield. B. Matthew Evans and Henry Woodward. C. Sir Frederick Banting and Charles Best. D. Dr. John A. Hops. The answer is C. Sir Frederick Banting and Charles Best. Question 63. What is a major river in Quebec? A. Hudson's Bay. B. Niagara. C. Fraser River. D. St. Lawrence River. The answer is D. St. Lawrence River. Question 64. Who circled the globe in a wheelchair to raise funds for spinal cord research? A. Reginald Fessenden. B. Rick Hansen. C. Terry Fox. D. Gerhard Herzberg. The answer is B. Rick Hansen. Question 65. Who is the father of Manitoba and defender of Métis right? A. Louis Riel. B. Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine. C. Sir John A. Macdonald. D. Sir William Riel. The answer is A. Louis Riel. Question 66. Which of the following is a non-Canadian not allowed to do? A. Leave the country at will. B. Contact his or her MP. C. Take the Canada citizenship test. D. Vote in federal and provincial election. The answer is D. Vote in federal and provincial election. Question 67. Why is the North sometimes called the land of the midnight sun? A. It is closer to the sun. B. The northern lights appear at midnight. C. It is night most of the time. D. Summer daylight can last up to 24 hours. The answer is D. Summer daylight can last up to 24 hours. Question 68. 1/3 of all Canadians live in which province? A. Saskatchewan. B. Quebec. C. Alberta. D. Ontario. The answer is D. Ontario. Question 69. Who can ask you about whom you voted for? A. No one. B. Any other Canadian. C. Your local MP. D. The Prime Minister. The answer is A. No one. Question 70. When did the United Empire Loyalists come to Canada? A. Late 1600s. B. Early 1600s. C. Early 1700s. D. Late 1700s. The answer is D. Late 1700s. Question 71. What happens when the federal government loses a confidence vote? A. Election is called. B. The official opposition party take power. C. The Prime Minister loses his job. D. The Prime Minister is no longer the leader of his party. The answer is A. Election is called. Question 72. What happened at the Battle of the Plains of Abraham? A. The voyageurs battled with the British for fur trading rights. B. Americans fought the United Empire Loyalists during the American Revolution. C. The British defeated the French, marking the end of France's empire in America. D. The French defeated the British in a battle for Quebec. The answer is C. The British defeated the French, marking the end of France's empire in America. Question 73. Who has the right to apply for a Canadian passport? A. British citizens. B. Canadian citizens. C. Any immigrant who has stayed a minimum of 3 years in Canada. D. Wealthy citizens. The answer is B. Canadian citizens. Question 74. Who were the group of 7 in modern Canada? A. A group of politicians. B. A group of Canadian companies. C. A group of cowboys who defended Canada. D. A group of Canadian landscape painters in the 1920s. The answer is D. A group of Canadian landscape painters in the 1920s. Question 75. What is a responsible government? A. The government is responsible for the well-being of its people. B. The government must take responsibility for any act of war it decides to commit. C. A government that is against corruption. D. The government must resign if it loses a confidence vote in the Assembly. The answer is D. The government must resign if it loses a confidence vote in the Assembly. Question 76. What outcome and significance did War of 1812 with USA have for Canada? A. Canada formed part of the United States. B. Canada lost a lot of people in the war. C. Canada protected its independence from the United States. D. Canada became an independent country. The answer is C. Canada protected its independence from the United States. Question 77. What level of government passes bylaws? A. Provincial. B. Municipal or local government. C. Federal. D. Senators. The answer is B. Municipal or local government. Question 78. What is meaning of the Canadian coat of arms and motto?
Amari Asquad Mari.
A. From air to land. B. From sea to land. C. From land to sea. D. From sea to sea. The answer is D. From sea to sea. Question 79. What are 3 key facts about Canada's system of government? A. A federal kingdom, a parliamentary democracy, and a constitutional monarchy. B. A federal state, a parliamentary democracy, and a constitutional monarchy. C. A socialist country, a parliamentary democracy, and a constitutional monarchy. D. A federal country, a constitutional democracy, and a parliamentary monarchy. The answer is B. A federal state, a parliamentary democracy, and a constitutional monarchy. Question 80. In which type of industry did most early European settlers work? A. Fur trading. B. Oil. C. Gold mining. D. Hunting. The answer is A. Fur trading. Question 81. How is a cabinet minister chosen? A. By the Prime Minister. B. By the Queen. C. By the voters. D. By the senators. The answer is A. By the Prime Minister. Question 82. Who are the Acadians? A. English-speaking refugees who settled in Ontario. B. The descendants of French colonists, who began settling in what are now the Maritime Provinces in 1604. C. French-speaking Catholics who live in Ontario. D. Aboriginal people of the Arctic. The answer is B. The descendants of French colonists, who began settling in what are now the Maritime Provinces in 1604. Question 83. How is the Prime Minister chosen? A. The MPs vote on the Prime Minister. B. The Governor-General with the Senators appoint the Prime Minister. C. The Queen appoints the Prime Minister. D. The leader of the party with the most elected member of Parliament. The answer is D. The leader of the party with the most elected member of Parliament. Question 84. What does MNA stand for? A. Member of the National Aid. B. Member of the National Association. C. Member of the National Airline. D. Member of the National Assembly. The answer is D. Member of the National Assembly. Question 85. Who proclaimed the amended Constitution of Canada in 1982? A. The Senate. B. Queen Elizabeth II. C. The people of Canada. D. The Prime Minister. The answer is B. Queen Elizabeth II. Question 86. What is Canada's system of government called? A. Dictatorship. B. Parliamentary government. C. Military rule. D. Communism. The answer is B. Parliamentary government. Question 87. What are the colors present in the Canadian flag? A. Blue and white. B. Red and white. C. Green and white. D. Red and blue. The answer is B. Red and white. Question 88. From where did the first European settlers in Canada come? A. Germany. B. England. C. France. D. Iceland. The answer is C. France. Question 89. Which of the following are not responsibilities of the Governor-General? A. Chooses the opposition party. B. Performs the ceremonial duties of the head of state. C. Signs bills to make them law after they had been passed by Parliament. D. A and C. The answer is A. Chooses the opposition party. Question 90. How can you contact your Member of Parliament? A. By using social media site online. B. By writing a letter to the House of Commons. C. By booking an appointment over the phone. D. By waiting outside of Parliament building. The answer is B. By writing a letter to the House of Commons. Question 91. Who was Sir Georges-Étienne Cartier? A. A railway lawyer and Montrealer. B. The first French-Canadian Prime Minister. C. The first head of a responsible government. D. Canada's first Prime Minister. The answer is A. A railway lawyer and Montrealer. Question 92. Who is the greatest Canadian hockey player? A. Wayne Gretzky. B. Mark Tewksbury. C. Donovan Bailey. D. Terry Fox. The answer is A. Wayne Gretzky. Question 93. Which of the following answers is not true about the relationship between Canada and the USA? A. Canada and the USA share the longest undefended international border. B. Canada and the USA are the largest trading partners in the world. C. Canada exports very few goods to the USA. D. The relationship between Canada and the USA is the closest and the most extensive in the world. The answer is C. Canada exports very few goods to the USA. Question 94. What principles out of the following is Canada's constitution based on? A. Multiculturalism, peace and order. B. Peace, order and good government. C. War, order and good government. D. Mobility rights, order and good government. The answer is B. Peace, order and good government. Question 95. What is the significance of hockey? A. It is the national summer sport. B. It is the most popular spectator sport in Canada, and also its national winter sport. C. Canada won a gold medal in 2008's Olympics in this event. D. None of these. The answer is B. It is the most popular spectator sport in Canada, and also its national winter sport. Question 96. What are the two principles upon which Canada is founded? A. The supremacy of God and the rule of law. B. The supremacy of God and freedom of speech. C. The supremacy of law and the rule of God. D. Mobility right and the rule of law. The answer is A. The supremacy of God and the rule of law. Question 97. What is celebrated on the 26th of December? A. Remembrance Day. B. Victoria Day. C. Boxing Day. D. Canada Day. The answer is C. Boxing Day. Question 98. Since when has the protocol for the amendment of the Canadian Constitution existed? A. 1962. B. 1982. C. 1885. D. 1972. The answer is B. 1982. Question 99. What is Canada's national winter sport? A. Lacrosse. B. Basketball. C. Hockey. D. Golf. The answer is C. Hockey. Question 100. Who led an armed uprising and seized Fort Garry? A. John A. Macdonald. B. Louis Riel. C. Sam Steele. D. Georges-Étienne Cartier. The answer is B. Louis Riel. Question 101. What are the main functions of the Cabinet? A. Natural resources. B. Navigation. C. To prepare the budget and propose new laws to be implemented. D. Defense. The answer is C. To prepare the budget and propose new laws to be implemented. Question 102. Who can enter and leave the country freely without time constraints? A. Canadian citizens and landed immigrants. B. Commonwealth citizens. C. Canadian citizens. D. British citizens. The answer is C. Canadian citizens. Question 103. If the government loses a confidence vote in Assembly, they A. Call for by-elections. B. Can continue. C. Do nothing. D. Must resign. The answer is D. Must resign. Question 104. Which province was the first to grant voting rights to women? A. Quebec. B. Ontario. C. Nova Scotia. D. Manitoba. The answer is D. Manitoba. Question 105. What is the Great Charter of Freedom also known as? A. Habeas corpus. B. Dominion of Canada. C. Canadian Constitution. D. Magna Carta. The answer is D. Magna Carta. Question 106. A member of Parliament from Montreal announces that she will spend her weekend in her electoral district. This means she would be A. In her office on Parliament Hill. B. In some part of Montreal where she was elected. C. Visiting the province of Quebec. D. Going on a vacation. The answer is B. In some part of Montreal where she was elected. Question 107. How is the government formed after a federal election? A. Each province elects one representative to form the government. The Queen then chooses the Prime Minister. B. The Governor-General picks a party and a Prime Minister to run the government. C. The party with the most elected representatives becomes the party in power. The leader of this party becomes the Prime Minister. D. The party with the most elected representatives becomes the party in power. The Queen chooses the Prime Minister from this party. The answer is C. The party with the most elected representatives becomes the party in power. The leader of this party becomes the Prime Minister. Question 108. Who is Canada's head of state? A. The Premier of Canada. B. A hereditary sovereign, Queen or King. C. The Governor-General. D. The Prime Minister. The answer is B. A hereditary sovereign, Queen or King. Question 109. Who chose Ottawa as the capital of Canada? A. Queen Elizabeth I. B. Queen Elizabeth II. C. Queen Victoria. D. Queen Anne. The answer is C. Queen Victoria. Question 110. When was the current flag of Canada raised for the first time? A. 1921. B. 1965. C. 1949. D. 1892. The answer is B. 1965. Question 111. What are the Prime Minister and Cabinet Ministers together called? A. The Government. B. The Cabinet. C. The House of Commons. D. The Senate. The answer is B. The Cabinet. Question 112. In which province are more than half of Canada's aeronautics and space industry located? A. Saskatchewan. B. Ontario. C. Quebec. D. Manitoba. The answer is C. Quebec. Question 113. Who is General Sir Arthur Currie? A. Canada's greatest soldier in the First World War. B. A great frontier hero. C. An explorer of Western Canada. D. A military leader of the Métis in the 19th century. The answer is A. Canada's greatest soldier in the First World War. Question 114. Which province was split into two at Confederation? A. Lower Canada. B. Newfoundland. C. Upper Canada. D. The Province of Canada. The answer is D. The Province of Canada. Question 115. What are the territories of Northern Canada and their capital cities? A. Yukon, Whitehorse, Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Nunavut, Iqaluit. B. Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Alaska, Juneau. C. Northwest Territories, Yellowknife. D. Alaska, Juneau, and Yukon, Whitehorse. The answer is A. Yukon, Whitehorse, Northwest Territories, Yellowknife, and Nunavut, Iqaluit. Question 116. What does the word Inuit mean? A. Eskimo in the Inuktitut language. B. Home in English. C. The people in the Inuktitut language. D. The Arctic land in the Inuktitut language. The answer is C. The people in the Inuktitut language. Question 117. Which party becomes the official opposition? A. The party the Prime Minister selects. B. The party with the least votes. C. The party with the second most votes. D. Any independent candidate. The answer is C. The party with the second most votes. Question 118. Who had played an important part in building the Canadian Pacific Railway, CPR? A. Acadian railroad workers. B. Afro-American slaves. C. American railroad engineers. D. Chinese railroad workers. The answer is D. Chinese railroad workers. Question 119. Which provinces are connected to Ontario by land? A. New Brunswick and Quebec. B. Alberta and Quebec. C. Manitoba and Quebec. D. Manitoba and Alberta. The answer is C. Manitoba and Quebec. Question 120. Who do members of Parliament represent? A. Everyone who lives in his or her electoral district. B. Everyone who lives in his or her neighborhood. C. Everyone who lives in his or her province. D. Everyone in Northern Canada. The answer is A. Everyone who lives in his or her electoral district. Question 121. What is the role of the opposition parties? A. To ensure reports about the current government are sent to the Queen. B. To supervise the government. C. To oppose or try to improve government proposals. D. To regulate government proposals. The answer is C. To oppose or try to improve government proposals. Question 122. On what date did Nunavut become a territory? A. April 1, 1999. B. May 1, 1998. C. July 1, 1867. D. July 31, 1820. The answer is A. April 1, 1999. Question 123. Why is the British North America Act important in Canadian history? A. It was agreed to by the First Nations and Inuit. B. It was written by the British government. C. The Aboriginal people signed the Act. D. It made Confederation legal. The answer is D. It made Confederation legal. Question 124. What principle was Canada's constitution founded on? A. Independence and freedom. B. Liberty, equality and fraternity. C. Liberty and pursuit of freedom. D. Peace, order and good government. The answer is D. Peace, order and good government. Question 125. Who built the French Empire in North America? A. King Charles II. B.
Jean Talon, Bishop Laval, Comte Frontenac.
C.
Pierre Lemoine, Sieur Iberville.
D. Great Britain. The answer is B.
Jean Talon, Bishop Laval, Comte Frontenac.
Question 126. Which province is on the Pacific coast of Canada? A. Nova Scotia. B. Alberta. C. New Brunswick. D. British Columbia. The answer is D. British Columbia. Question 127. How many Great Lakes are located between Ontario and the United States? A. 4. B. 5. C. 6. D. 7. The answer is B. 5. Question 128. Which one is Canada's best-known symbol and national police force? A. RMCP. B. CIA. C. Canadian Police. D. RCMP. The answer is D. RCMP. Question 129. Which group of Aboriginal peoples has the largest population in the Northern Territories and Nunavut? A. Acadians. B. Métis. C. First Nations. D. Inuit. The answer is D. Inuit. Question 130. Where are the Parliament buildings located? A. Toronto. B. Kingston. C. London. D. Ottawa. The answer is D. Ottawa. Question 131. What forms a jury? A. Politicians. B. Immigrants. C. Judges. D. A jury is made up of citizens. The answer is D. A jury is made up of citizens.
Question 132. What is the significance of the Quebec Act of 1774?
A. It allowed Quebec to gain independence. B. It allowed the French to move into Quebec. C. Canada's tolerance of religious tradition under the law. D. It gave the French more power. The answer is C. Canada's tolerance of religious tradition under the law. Question 133. Who has the right to be considered first for a job in the federal government? A. Canadian citizens. B. Anyone with the relevant experience. C. Anyone with the necessary qualifications. D. Foreigners. The answer is A. Canadian citizens. Question 134. Who are Anglophones? A. People who were taught English at school. B. People who understand but do not speak English. C. People who do not speak English as a first language. D. People speaking English as a first language. The answer is D. People speaking English as a first language. Question 135. Who were the voyageurs? A. Montreal-based traders who traveled by canoe. B. Immigrants to Canada in the 18th century. C. Explorers searching for the Northwest Passage. D. Geographers who first charted the coastline of British Columbia. The answer is A. Montreal-based traders who traveled by canoe. Question 136. Which countries fought in the Battle of Plain of Abraham, A. British and Germany. B. British and France. C. France and China. D. America and British. The answer is B. British and France. Question 137. When did the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms become part of the Constitution? A. 1892. B. 1872. C. 1982. D. 1782. The answer is C. 1982. Question 138. Which group of Aboriginal peoples has the largest population in Canada? A. Acadians. B. First Nations. C. Indians. D. Métis. The answer is B. First Nations. Question 139. Why is the Constitution Act of 1982 important in Canadian history? A. Canada can modify the Constitution without the approval from the British government. B. The Queen has more power in Canadian government. C. It lets Canadians to enjoy more freedom. D. It made changes to the Citizenship Act. The answer is A. Canada can modify the Constitution without the approval from the British government. Question 140. Which province has the most valuable forest industry in Canada? A. Ontario. B. Alberta. C. Quebec. D. British Columbia. The answer is D. British Columbia. Question 141. Which of the followings best describes the lacrosse sport? A. The official winter sport. B. The second most popular sport in Canada. C. The official summer sport. D. The most popular sport in Canada. The answer is C. The official summer sport. Question 142. What do you call a law before it is passed? A. A proposed law. B. A bill. C. A new law. D. A proposal of a law. The answer is B. A bill. Question 143. Who, among these, is a Nobel Prize-winning scientist? A. Gerhard Herzberg. B. Marshall McLuhan. C. Alexander Graham Bell. D. Harold Innis. The answer is A. Gerhard Herzberg. Question 144. Canadians have rights and fundamental freedoms, such as A. Thought and belief. B. Opinion and expression. C. Freedom of religion. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 145. When did the British North America Act come into effect? A. 1867. B. 1881. C. 1901. D. 1876. The answer is A. 1867. Question 146. What is the highest honor available to Canadians? A. The Queen's Medal. B. Elizabeth Cross. C. Victoria Medal. D. Victoria Cross. The answer is D. Victoria Cross. Question 147. Which city provides important shipping and air links across the Pacific Ocean? A. Victoria. B. Calgary. C. Edmonton. D. Vancouver. The answer is D. Vancouver. Question 148. What is Terry Fox's contribution? A. He inspired people to contribute money for cancer research. B. He was the greatest hockey player in Canada. C. His discovery of insulin saves millions of people's lives. D. He was a brilliant soldier. The answer is A. He inspired people to contribute money for cancer research. Question 149. What are 3 minerals still mined in the territories today? A. Lead, gold and zinc. B. Silver, lead and zinc. C. Zinc, gold and bronze. D. Zinc, lead and aluminum. The answer is A. Lead, gold and zinc. Question 150. What are the regions of Canada? A. West, North, South, East and Central. B. West Coast, Central, East, Canadian Shield and South. C. Atlantic, North, Central, Prairies and West Coast. D. Rockies, Ontario, Quebec and Prairies. The answer is C. Atlantic, North, Central, Prairies and West Coast. Question 151. What is the head of the city called? A. Mayor. B. Councillor. C. Alderman. D. Premier. The answer is A. Mayor. Question 152. In what sorts of jobs do most Canadians work? A. Service. B. Lumbering. C. Farming. D. Natural resources. The answer is A. Service. Question 153. What is written on an election ballot? A. The names of the candidates in your election district. B. Who you should vote for. C. The date and time you are allowed to vote. D. Where you should vote. The answer is A. The names of the candidates in your election district. Question 154. Which province is the only officially bilingual province? A. Ontario. B. Quebec. C. Nova Scotia. D. New Brunswick. The answer is D. New Brunswick. Question 155. Where do most French-speaking Canadians live? A. Nova Scotia. B. Quebec. C. Ontario. D. New Brunswick. The answer is B. Quebec.
Question 156. Who started the women's suffrage movement in Canada? A. Agnes MacPhail. B. Laura Secord. C. Dr. Emily Stowe. D. Madeline Parent. The answer is C. Dr. Emily Stowe.
Question 157. What will you promise when you take the oath of citizenship? A. Carry out responsibilities as a Canadian citizen. B. Pledge to be allegiance to the Queen. C. Promise to obey the Constitution of Canada. D. Pledge loyalty to the Queen, observe the laws and fulfill the duties of a Canadian. The answer is D. Pledge loyalty to the Queen, observe the laws and fulfill the duties of a Canadian. Question 158. The Quebec Act of 1774. A. Allowed religious freedom for Catholics. B. Is one of the constitutional foundations of Canada. C. Permitted Catholics to hold public office. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 159. What region is called the Land of the Midnight Sun? A. Central Canada. B. The Northern Territories. C. The Prairies. D. The Maritimes. The answer is B. The Northern Territories. Question 160. What does it mean for a political party to be in power? A. To gain the approval of the Queen. B. To have the most elected representatives. C. To generate electricity. D. To hold the nuclear button. The answer is B. To have the most elected representatives. Question 161. Which two provinces produce more than 3/4 of Canadian manufactured goods? A. Quebec and Manitoba. B. British Columbia and Ontario. C. Ontario and Quebec. D. Alberta and Ontario. The answer is C. Ontario and Quebec. Question 162. When was the Constitution of Canada amended to include the Charter of Rights and Freedoms? A. 1902. B. 1859. C. 1982. D. 1949. The answer is C. 1982. Question 163. To which of the following communities do the majority of Canadians belong? A. Christian. B. Jewish. C. Muslim. D. Hindu. The answer is A. Christian. Question 164. Which Canadian province is the largest producer of oil and natural gas? A. Quebec. B. Nova Scotia. C. Ontario. D. Alberta. The answer is D. Alberta. Question 165. Which is the northeastern province in Canada that has its own time zone? A. Alberta. B. Newfoundland and Labrador. C. Nova Scotia. D. Prince Edward Island. The answer is B. Newfoundland and Labrador. Question 166. What is the voting procedure in Canada? A. Whichever way you like. B. Online. C. Secret ballot. D. Open ballot. The answer is C. Secret ballot. Question 167. Which is the Canadian province with the largest population? A. Ontario. B. Quebec. C. Nova Scotia. D. Alberta. The answer is A. Ontario. Question 168. What do Canadians normally wear on Remembrance Day? A. A red poppy. B. A green shirt. C. A black tie. D. A white shirt. The answer is A. A red poppy. Question 169. What does CPR stand for? A. Canadian Pacific Railway. B. Canadian People Railway. C. Canadian Public Road. D. Canadian People Resource. The answer is A. Canadian Pacific Railway. Question 170. How long is the Lieutenant Governor appointed for? A. 3 years. B. 4 years. C. 5 years. D. 6 years. The answer is C. 5 years. Question 171. Which is the fundamental characteristic of Canadian heritage and identity? A. Multiculturalism. B. French culture. C. Canadian festivals. D. English culture. The answer is A. Multiculturalism. Question 172. When does Canada celebrate Thanksgiving? A. The second Monday of October. B. The first Friday of October. C. The first Monday of September. D. The first Monday of July. The answer is A. The second Monday of October. Question 173. What is the symbol of the Canadian government? A. The Parliament. B. The Crown. C. The national flag. D. The snowbirds. The answer is B. The Crown. Question 174. In the 1960s, Quebec experienced an era of rapid change. What is it called? A. The East Movement. B. The Quiet Revolution. C. The Suffrage Movement. D. The Industrial Revolution. The answer is B. The Quiet Revolution. Question 175. Who invented the worldwide system of standard time zones? A. Joseph Armand Bombardier. B. Reginald Fessenden. C. Sir Sandford Fleming. D. Alexander Graham Bell. The answer is C. Sir Sandford Fleming. Question 176. The ancestors of the Aboriginals are believed to have migrated from which of the following continents? A. Asia. B. America. C. Europe. D. Australia. The answer is A. Asia. Question 177. Municipal government is responsible for which of the following? A. Natural resources. B. Currency. C. Garbage removal. D. Highways. The answer is C. Garbage removal. Question 178. Who is a premier? A. The Prime Minister is also called the Premier. B. A Premier has a role similar to that of the Prime Minister in a federal government. C. The Commissioner. D. The Governor General. The answer is B. A Premier has a role similar to that of the Prime Minister in a federal government. Question 179. Which oceans line Canada's frontiers? A. The Pacific Ocean in the west. B. The Atlantic Ocean in the east. C. The Arctic Ocean to the north. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 180. Who is the head of the government in Canada? A. The Sovereign. B. The Prime Minister. C. The Premier. D. The Commissioner. The answer is B. The Prime Minister. Question 181. What do we need to bring with us for voting? A. Voter information card, voter's identity, and address proof. B. Credit card. C. Ballot paper. D. None of these. The answer is A. Voter information card, voter's identity, and address proof. Question 182. Where have most immigrants come from since the 1970s? A. Asia. B. England. C. France. D. USA. The answer is A. Asia. Question 183. For what product did the first companies formed in Canada compete for? A. Timber trade. B. Gold trade. C. Fur trade. D. Fish trade. The answer is C. Fur trade. Question 184. How many Canadians were killed in World War I from 1914 to 1918? A. 60,000. B. 170,000. C. 200,000. D. 70,000. The answer is A. 60,000. Question 185. How many Canadians have been awarded the Victoria Cross? A. 96. B. 500. C. 2. D. 1222. The answer is A. 96. Question 186. Which country was liberated by the Canadian Army in 1944 to 1945? A. Germany. B. Austria. C. The Netherlands. D. Japan. The answer is C. The Netherlands. Question 187. Who is known as the greatest living Canadian? A. Dr. Wilder Penfield. B. Terry Fox. C. Sir John A. Macdonald. D. Sir Sandford Fleming. The answer is A. Dr. Wilder Penfield. Question 188. Which province has the largest population of Aboriginals? A. Manitoba. B. Ontario. C. Nova Scotia. D. Alberta. The answer is A. Manitoba. Question 189. How large is Canada? A. About 8 million square kilometers. B. About 10 million square kilometers. C. About 11 million square kilometers. D. About 9 million square kilometers. The answer is B. About 10 million square kilometers. Question 190. Where is the most important harbor in eastern Canada located? A. Vancouver. B. Yellowknife. C. Halifax. D. Quebec. The answer is C. Halifax. Question 191. Who is considered Canada's greatest soldier? A. General Sir Arthur Currie. B. Phil Edwards. C. Sir John A. Macdonald. D. Rick Hansen. The answer is A. General Sir Arthur Currie. Question 192. What three oceans border Canada? A. Hudson, Pacific and Atlantic. B. Atlantic, Arctic and Bering. C. Pacific, Indian and Atlantic. D. Atlantic, Arctic and Pacific. The answer is D. Atlantic, Arctic and Pacific. Question 193. In which act are the responsibilities of the federal and provincial government defined? A. The Federal Act. B. The Government Act. C. The Responsibilities Act. D. The Constitution Act. The answer is D. The Constitution Act. Question 194. Which courts are for civil cases involving small sums of money? A. The Federal Court. B. The Small Claims Courts. C. A Trial Court. D. A Provincial Court. The answer is B. The Small Claims Courts. Question 195. What is a voter information card? A. A list tells you who the candidates are in your electoral district. B. A letter that lets you know the voting schedule. C. A form that tells you where and when to vote. D. A card to let you register for voting. The answer is C. A form that tells you where and when to vote. Question 196. What is the head tax? A. Race-based entry fee charged for Chinese entering Canada. B. Fee charged for anyone entering Canada after 1900. C. A tax imposed on beer beginning in 1867. D. Fee charged for moving westward in the early 1900s. The answer is A. Race-based entry fee charged for Chinese entering Canada. Question 197. Which of the following are the responsibilities of federal government? A. Nation defense, foreign policy, international trade and Aboriginal affairs. B. Nation defense, health care, international trade and Aboriginal affairs. C. Highways, policing, international trade and criminal justice. D. Education, foreign policy, recycling programs and Aboriginal affairs. The answer is A. Nation defense, foreign policy, international trade and Aboriginal affairs. Question 198. In Canada's justice system, what does presumption of innocence mean? A. The Prime Minister can determine who is innocent in a court. B. Everybody is guilty until proven innocent. C. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. D. The judge can determine who is guilty without evidence. The answer is C. Everyone is innocent until proven guilty. Question 199. What does Register of Electors contain? A. A list of all Canadian citizens who are qualified to vote in federal elections and referendums. B. A list of people who are willing to vote in elections and referendums. C. A list of people who voted for the opposition party in the previous election. D. A list of people who are not allowed to vote. The answer is A. A list of all Canadian citizens who are qualified to vote in federal elections and referendums. Question 200. In the Canadian justice system, what are the roles of the courts and the police? A. The courts make laws and the police enforce them. B. The courts enforce federal laws and the police enforce provincial laws. C. The courts enforce laws and the police settle disputes. D. The courts settle disputes and the police enforce the laws. The answer is D. The courts settle disputes and the police enforce the laws. Question 201. What is the reason behind the Canada and US border? A. To improve security. B. To maintain distance. C. Canada wishes to remain independent of the United States. D. To prevent war between the two countries. The answer is C. Canada wishes to remain independent of the United States. Question 202. What is the other name for a trial court? A. The Court of Queen's Bench. B. The Federal Court. C. The Provincial Court. D. The Small Claims Courts. The answer is A. The Court of Queen's Bench. Question 203. What is the minimum age for voting in federal, provincial, territorial, and municipal elections? A. 18. B. 19. C. 21. D. 16. The answer is A. 18. Question 204. What is the tenure of the Governor General? A. 4 years. B. 6 years. C. 5 years. D. 7 years. The answer is C. 5 years. Question 205. Post-war Canada became a more flexible and open society. Which of the following was this based on? A. Equality of men and women. B. Inequality of women. C. Inequality of men and women. D. Equality of men. The answer is A. Equality of men and women. Question 206. Which 3 rights are included in the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms? A. Freedom of expression rights, property rights, and fair trial rights. B. Mobility rights, Aboriginal people's rights, and official language rights. C. Aboriginal people's rights, voting rights, and official language rights. D. Employment rights, mobility rights, and freedom rights. The answer is B. Mobility rights, Aboriginal people's rights, and official language rights. Question 207. Which of the following are the three founding peoples of Canada? A. American, French, and British. B. Aboriginal, French, and British. C. French, American, and Indian. D. British, American, and Aboriginal. The answer is B. Aboriginal, French, and British. Question 208. To what ocean is Newfoundland closest? A. Atlantic. B. Pacific. C. Labrador Sea. D. Arctic. The answer is A. Atlantic. Question 209. What UN operation did Canada participate in from 1950 to 1953? A. Canadian forces defended Hong Kong. B. The Canadian Corps captured Vimy Ridge. C. Canada participated in the UN operation defending South Korea in the Korean War. D. Canadians volunteered to fight in the South African War. The answer is C. Canada participated in the UN operation defending South Korea in the Korean War. Question 210. From whom are the Acadians descended? A. Métis and Inuit. B. First Nations who began settling in what are now the Prairie Provinces in 1600s. C. British colonists who began settling in what are now the Maritime Provinces in 1604. D. French colonists who began settling in what are now the Maritime Provinces in 1604. The answer is D. French colonists who began settling in what are now the Maritime Provinces in 1604. Question 211. Who has the right to enter and leave Canada at will? A. Prisoners. B. Members of the Commonwealth. C. Canadian citizens. D. Job seekers. The answer is C. Canadian citizens. Question 212. What was the significance of June 6, 1944 invasion of Normandy? A. Canadians made a significant contribution to the defeat of Nazism and fascism in Europe during the Second World War. B. It liberated North Africa from Nazi occupation. C. It results in the forcible relocation of Canadians of Japanese origin. D. It led to the establishment of the Juno Awards. The answer is A. Canadians made a significant contribution to the defeat of Nazism and fascism in Europe during the Second World War. Question 213. What does equality under the law mean? A. To be protected against any discrimination. B. To be discriminated against. C. To be like anyone else in Canada. D. To be the same as anywhere in the world. The answer is A. To be protected against any discrimination. Question 214. What does mobility rights mean? A. Being able to use any mobile phone service in Canada. B. Being able to live and work anywhere in Canada. C. Being able to live and fish anywhere in Canada. D. Being able to play hockey anywhere in Canada. The answer is B. Being able to live and work anywhere in Canada. Question 215. What is the Okanagan Valley famous for? A. Coal mines. B. Lakes and fishing. C. Fruit orchards. D. Sunrise and sunset. The answer is C. Fruit orchards. Question 216. When did the name of Canada begin appearing on maps? A. By the 1750s. B. By the 1580s. C. By the 1550s. D. By the 1650s. The answer is C. By the 1550s. Question 217. What is a minority government? A. The party in power holds less than half of the seats in the House of Commons. B. The party in power holds less than half of the seats in the House of Commons and the Senate. C. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the House of Commons. D. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the Senate. The answer is A. The party in power holds less than half of the seats in the House of Commons. Question 218. Where are the Great Lakes? A. Atlantic Canada. B. Manitoba. C. Between Ontario and the United States. D. Northern Quebec. The answer is C. Between Ontario and the United States. Question 219. What is the difference between the role of the sovereign and that of the Prime Minister? A. The sovereign links Canada to 52 other nations, and the Prime Minister is the guardian of constitutional freedoms. B. The sovereign is the symbol of Canadian sovereignty, and the Prime Minister is her aide. C. The sovereign is head of state, the Prime Minister oversees provincial policies. D. The sovereign is the guardian of constitutional freedoms, the Prime Minister selects the cabinet ministers, and is responsible for operations and policy of government. The answer is D. The sovereign is the guardian of constitutional freedoms, the Prime Minister selects the cabinet ministers, and is responsible for operations and policy of government. Question 220. What is the meaning of the Remembrance Day poppy? A. To remember our sovereign, Queen Elizabeth II. B. To remember the sacrifice of Canadians who have served or died in wars up to the present day. C. To honor prime ministers who have died. D. To celebrate Confederation. The answer is B. To remember the sacrifice of Canadians who have served or died in wars up to the present day. Question 221. You can vote in advance if A. You are elderly. B. You know you will not be able to vote on election day. C. Sick and physically disabled. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 222. Who signs the bills if it is approved by the provincial parliament? A. The mayor. B. Dalton McGuinty. C. Members of the provincial parliament. D. The lieutenant governor. The answer is D. The lieutenant governor. Question 223. What does MPP stand for? A. Member of the provincial parachute. B. Member of the provincial police. C. Member of the provincial parliament. D. Member of the provincial publication. The answer is C. Member of the provincial parliament. Question 224. How are senators chosen? A. By the Premier of all provinces. B. By the Governor-General of Canada. C. Appointed by the Governor-General on the advice of the Prime Minister. D. Appointed by the Queen. The answer is C. Appointed by the Governor-General on the advice of the Prime Minister. Question 225. Who was the first Prime Minister of Canada? A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. B. Alexander Mackenzie. C. Pierre Elliott Trudeau. D. Sir John Macdonald. The answer is A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. Question 226. Which animal is an official symbol of Canada? A. The bear. B. The moose. C. The beaver. D. The snowbird. The answer is C. The beaver. Question 227. What do you mark on a federal election ballot? A. A check mark. B. An X. C. A sticker. D. A thumbprint. The answer is B and X. Question 228. What does the blindfolded Lady Justice symbolize? A. Blind to all considerations other than facts. B. The government must respect all of the legal rights a person is entitled to under the law. C. Our judicial system is founded on the presumption of innocence in criminal matters. D. None of these. The answer is A. Blind to all considerations other than facts. Question 229. When did thousands of miners first come to Yukon? A. 1870s. B. 1980s. C. 1780s. D. 1890s. The answer is D. 1890s. Question 230. When is the Sir Wilfrid Laurier Day is celebrated? A. 12th of November. B. 20th of November. C. 22nd of November. D. 2nd of November. The answer is B. 20th of November. Question 231. What is the significance of the Canadian discovery of insulin? A. It saved lives of children with sickness. B. It saved millions of lives of people with diabetes. C. It helped the treatment of heart diseases. D. It was an important medicine to save soldiers' life during World War II. The answer is B. It saved millions of lives of people with diabetes. Question 232. Jurisdiction is shared by federal government and provinces over which of the following sectors? A. Agriculture and immigration. B. Interprovincial trade and communications. C. Defense and health. D. Natural resources. The answer is A. Agriculture and immigration. Question 233. What do you call the Queen's representative in the territories? A. Commissioner. B. Member of the Legislative Assembly. C. Sir. D. Lieutenant Governor. The answer is A. Commissioner. Question 234. What are the provinces of the Atlantic region? A. Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Quebec. B. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island and Quebec. C. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. D. New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, Ontario and Quebec. The answer is C. Nova Scotia, Newfoundland, New Brunswick and Prince Edward Island. Question 235. Why the Battle of Vimy Ridge is important in the Canadian history? A. It was the last battle of the First World War. B. It has come to symbolize Canada's becoming as a nation. C. It was an important victory in the Boer War. D. Out of it was formed the Canadian Corps. The answer is B. It has come to symbolize Canada's becoming as a nation. Question 236. From where does the name Canada come? A. From the Inuit word Kanada, meaning nations. B. From Kanada, the First Nations word for village. C. From the Inuit word meaning home. D. From the First Nations word meaning land. The answer is B. From Kanada, the First Nations word for village. Question 237. What are the three main types of industry in Canada? A. Natural resources, manufacturing and services. B. Mining, services and manufacturing. C. Oil, tourism and manufacturing. D. Fishery, tourism and services. The answer is A. Natural resources, manufacturing and services. Question 238. Which country lies on Canada's southern border? A. Central America. B. Mexico. C. Michigan. D. United States of America. The answer is D. United States of America. Question 239. What are the prairie provinces? A. Saskatchewan and Manitoba. B. Alberta, Manitoba and British Columbia. C. Saskatchewan, Alberta and Manitoba. D. Saskatchewan and Alberta. The answer is C. Saskatchewan, Alberta and Manitoba. Question 240. Where do the English and French have equal status in Canada? A. In the workplace. B. In schools. C. In the Parliament of Canada. D. At the City Hall. The answer is C. In the Parliament of Canada. Question 241. What is a majority government? A. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the House of Commons and the Senate. B. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the House of Commons. C. The party in power holds less than half of the seats in the House of Commons. D. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the Senate. The answer is B. The party in power holds at least half of the seats in the House of Commons.
Question 242. Which countries fought in the War of 1812?
A. United Kingdom and United States of America. B. France and United Kingdom. C. Canada and United States of America. D. France, Great Britain and United States of America. The answer is A. United Kingdom and United States of America. Question 243. Name 3 requirements you must meet in order to vote in a federal election. A. Canadian citizen, at least 21 years old, and on the list of electors. B. Canadian citizen, at least 18 years old and on the voters list. C. Working for the government, at least 21 years old and Canadian citizen. D. Canadian citizen, at least 16 years old and on the list of voters. The answer is B. Canadian citizen, at least 18 years old and on the voters list. Question 244. Which 2 provinces are on the Atlantic coast of Canada? A. British Columbia and Yukon. B. Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. C. Newfoundland and British Columbia. D. Prince Edward Island and Ontario. The answer is B. Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. Question 245. How many provinces and territories are there in Canada? A. 8 provinces and 3 territories. B. 10 provinces and 2 territories. C. 9 provinces and 2 territories. D. 10 provinces and 3 territories. The answer is D. 10 provinces and 3 territories. Question 246. Which of the following statements about residential schools is not true? A. The federal government placed many Aboriginal children in residential schools to educate and assimilate them into mainstream Canadian culture. B. The schools were poorly funded and inflicted hardship on the students. C. The schools were welcomed by the Aboriginal people. D. Aboriginal language and cultural practices were mostly prohibited. The answer is C. The schools were welcomed by the Aboriginal people. Question 247. Who have major responsibilities on First Nations reserves? A. Band chiefs and councillors. B. Municipal governments. C. Provincial and territorial governments. D. Federal government. The answer is A. Band chiefs and councillors. Question 248. What important trade did the Hudson Bay Company control? A. Gold. B. Oil. C. Fishery. D. Fur. The answer is D. Fur. Question 249. Who are exempted from the requirement of adequate knowledge of English or French in order to become a Canadian citizen? A. Anyone who doesn't live in major city. B. Anyone who doesn't want to. C. Any adult applicants who are 55 years of age and over. D. Any adult applicants who are 55 years of age and under. The answer is C. Any adult applicants who are 55 years of age and over.
Question 250. What are the first two lines of Canada's national anthem? A. O Canada, true patriot love in all thy sons command. B. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all thy sons demand. C. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. D. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. The answer is D. O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all us command.
Question 251. Which of the followings are the responsibilities of local government? A. Education, foreign policy and transportation. B. Healthcare, natural resources and transportation. C. National defense, healthcare and transportation. D. Social and community health, snow removal and transportation. The answer is D. Social and community health, snow removal and transportation. Question 252. What does the Canadian flag look like? A. Red with a white maple leaf. B. Red and white with a bear. C. White with a red border on each end and a red maple leaf in the center. D. Red and white with provincial emblems. The answer is C. White with a red border on each end and a red maple leaf in the center. Question 253. What does confederation mean? A. The joining of provinces to become a new country. B. The United States Confederate Army came to settle in Canada. C. The combination of neighborhood to build a larger community. D. The merger of colonies to form a province. The answer is A. The joining of provinces to become a new country. Question 254. In what year were the Aboriginal peoples granted the right to vote?
A. 1960. B. 1790. C. 1950. D. 1632.
The answer is A. 1960. Question 255. In which period did Canada's economy and industry experience a boom? A. 1880s. B. 1890s and early 1900s. C. 1920s. D. 1860s. The answer is B. 1890s and early 1900s. Question 256. What are the three parts of Parliament? A. The Queen, Governor-General and Prime Minister. B. The Governor-General, the Legislative Assembly and the Senate. C. The Queen, the House of Commons and the Senate. D. The House of Commons, the Legislative Assembly and the Senate. The answer is C. The Queen, the House of Commons and the Senate. Question 257. Which two are Great Lakes? A. St. Lawrence and Superior. B. Ontario and Okanagan. C. Michigan and Okanagan. D. Huron and Erie. The answer is D. Huron and Erie. Question 258. What is known as the effort by women to achieve the right to vote? A. The suffrage motion of women. B. The women's voting law. C. The election law. D. The women's suffrage movement. The answer is D. The women's suffrage movement. Question 259. What do political parties do? A. Follow commands from the Queen. B. Share ideas about how government should work. C. Plan for the celebration of Canada Day. D. Work with the local governments. The answer is B. Share ideas about how government should work. Question 260. Who were the United Empire Loyalists? A. Inuit and First Nations. B. French and British settlers. C. First Nations and British settlers. D. Settlers from the United States during the American Revolution. The answer is D. Settlers from the United States during the American Revolution. Question 261. What does the right to a secret ballot mean? A. No one can watch you vote except the election officer. B. The voter should not tell anyone for whom he or she voted. C. Only the candidate you vote for can watch your marked ballot. D. No one can watch you vote or look at your marked ballot. The answer is D. No one can watch you vote or look at your marked ballot. Question 262. Which province is Canada's largest producer of hydroelectricity? A. British Columbia. B. Manitoba. C. Ontario. D. Quebec. The answer is D. Quebec. Question 263. Which territory shares a border with another country? A. British Columbia. B. Alberta. C. Northwest Territories. D. Yukon Territory. The answer is D. Yukon Territory. Question 264. Which four provinces first formed Confederation? A. Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. B. Ontario, Newfoundland, Quebec, and Nova Scotia. C. Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, and British Columbia. D. Ontario, Quebec, Manitoba, and Nova Scotia. The answer is A. Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, and New Brunswick. Question 265. When was the Canadian Pacific Railway finished? A. Late 1600s. B. Late 1700s. C. Late 1800s. D. Early 1700s. The answer is C. Late 1800s. Question 266. Who has the right to run as a candidate in federal elections? A. Any man who is at least 18 years or older. B. Any Canadian citizen who is at least 18 years old. C. Canadian citizens and landed immigrants. D. A Canadian citizen who is 16 years or older. The answer is B. Any Canadian citizen who is at least 18 years old. Question 267. What are the territories of Northern Canada? A. Nunavut and Yukon Territory. B. Northwest Territories and Alaska. C. Yukon and Northwest Territories. D. Yukon Territory and Northwest Territories and Nunavut. The answer is D. Yukon Territory and Northwest Territories and Nunavut. Question 268. How does a bill become a law? A. Must be approved by the governors of each province. B. Must be approved by a majority in the House of Commons and Senate, and received royal assent. C. Must be signed by the Queen or King. D. Must be approved by the members of the Parliament. The answer is B. Must be approved by a majority in the House of Commons and Senate, and received royal assent. Question 269. Who are the Quebecers? A. European settlers in the 1600s. B. Descendants of the French colonists. C. Descendants of the Anglophones. D. People of Quebec. The answer is D. People of Quebec. Question 270. Fatima is a new immigrant to Canada. Why can she choose to take a job like any man? A. Because of the equality between French and English. B. Because she came from United Kingdom. C. Because of the equality of women and men in Canada. D. Because she has a university degree. The answer is C. Because of the equality of women and men in Canada. Question 271. Why is British Columbia known as Canada's Pacific Gateway? A. Because billions of dollars in goods are shipped to and from Asia. B. Because it has Pacific Ocean on its coastline. C. Because many people of Asian origin live there. D. Because it attracts many tourists all year round. The answer is A. Because billions of dollars in goods are shipped to and from Asia. Question 272. When was the Magna Carta signed? A. 1649. B. 1215. C. 1425. D. 1615. The answer is B. 1215. Question 273. What does the Great Charter of Freedom include? A. Aboriginal people's rights. B. Employment rights. C. Freedom of conscience and religion. D. Freedom from taxes. The answer is C. Freedom of conscience and religion. Question 274. What is habeas corpus? A. The right to live and work anywhere in Canada. B. The right for peaceful assembly. C. The right to speak freely. D. The right to challenge unlawful detention by the state. The answer is D. The right to challenge unlawful detention by the state. Question 275. Who invented the snowmobile? A. Alexander Graham Bell. B. Joseph Armand Bombardier. C. Sir Sandford Fleming. D. Matthew Evans and Henry Woodward. The answer is B. Joseph Armand Bombardier. Question 276. Who out of the following is above the law in Canada? A. Judges. B. Police. C. Politicians. D. No one. The answer is D. No one. Question 277. What are the three branches of the Canadian government? A. Executive, Senate and Judicial. B. Executive, Legislative and Monarchy. C. Executive, Police and Judicial. D. Executive, Legislative and Judicial. The answer is D. Executive, Legislative and Judicial. Question 278. Under Canadian law, why is every person presumed to be innocent until proven guilty? A. No person or group is above the law. B. Men and women are equal under the law. C. Freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression. D. To guarantee the due legal process under the law. The answer is D. To guarantee the due legal process under the law. Question 279. Who governs Canada on a daily basis at the federal level? A. Premier. B. Governor General. C. The Queen. D. Prime Minister. The answer is D. Prime Minister. Question 280. What does the Canadian crown symbolize? A.
Amari Asquad Mari.
B. Symbols of England, France, Scotland, and Ireland. C. RCMP, the National Police Force, and one of Canada's best-known symbols. D. Canada is a constitutional monarchy. The answer is D. Canada is a constitutional monarchy. Question 281. Who is awarded the honor of Victoria Cross? A. Canadian politicians. B. Police officers. C. Best Innovation of the Year. D. A Canadian showing conspicuous bravery or self-sacrifice. The answer is D. A Canadian showing conspicuous bravery or self-sacrifice. Question 282. Federal elections are carried out to elect which of the following? A. Premier. B. Prime Minister. C. Member of Parliament. D. Senator. The answer is C. Member of Parliament. Question 283. What is a part of our heritage under the Canadian legal system? A. Freedom under law. B. Democratic principles and due process. C. Rule of law. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 284. Which is Canada's largest city and main financial centre? A. Vancouver. B. Toronto. C. Montreal. D. Calgary. The answer is B. Toronto. Question 285. Which of the following describe two responsibilities of provincial or territorial government? A. Policing and citizenship. B. Policing and firefighting. C. National defense and highways. D. Education and health care. The answer is D. Education and health care. Question 286. Where do Inuit people live? A. Ontario. B. Reserve land. C. In scattered communities across the Arctic. D. Prairie provinces. The answer is C. In scattered communities across the Arctic. Question 287. Who contributed to the invention of the radio and also sent the world's first wireless voice message? A. Reginald Fessenden. B. Alexander Graham Bell. C. Mike Lazaridis. D. Matthew Evans. The answer is A. Reginald Fessenden. Question 288. Which region was stormed and captured on D-Day, June 6, 1944, by the 3rd Canadian Infantry Division? A. Berlin. B. Juno Beach. C. London. D. Paris. The answer is B. Juno Beach. Question 289. Who invented the sport of basketball? A. Canadians. B. French. C. Germans. D. Americans. The answer is A. Canadians. Question 290. What are the men who established Canada called? A. Fathers of Confederation. B. Fathers of Dominion of Canada. C. Fathers of Canada. D. Fathers of Constitution. The answer is A. Fathers of Confederation. Question 291. Which of the following describe two responsibilities of federal government? A. National defense and foreign policy. B. National defense and firefighting. C. Citizenship and maintaining highways. D. Health care and education. The answer is A. National defense and foreign policy. Question 292. In which year was the British Parliament prohibited from buying and selling slaves? A. 1793. B. 1877. C. 1807. D. 1833. The answer is C. 1807. Question 293. Who became the first French-Canadian Prime Minister since the formation of Confederation? A. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. B. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. C. Sir Georges-Étienne Cartier. D. Sir Leonard Tilley. The answer is B. Sir Wilfrid Laurier. Question 294. Which of the following is the highest court of Canada? A. A provincial court. B. The small claims courts. C. The Supreme Court. D. The Federal Court. The answer is C. The Supreme Court. Question 295. Who represents an electoral district? A. The Commissioner. B. The Governor-General. C. The Lieutenant Governor. D. A Member of Parliament. The answer is D. A Member of Parliament. Question 296. Which of the following was invented by Alexander Graham Bell? A. BlackBerry. B. Fax machine. C. Telephone. D. Internet. The answer is C. Telephone. Question 297. Which sport has the greatest number of registered players in Canada? A. Lacrosse. B. Soccer. C. Curling. D. Basketball. The answer is B. Soccer. Question 298. What is celebrated on April 9th? A. Vimy Day. B. Family Day. C. Thanksgiving Day. D. Boxing Day. The answer is A. Vimy Day. Question 299. When was employment insurance introduced by the Canadian federal government? A. 1947. B. 1950. C. 1940. D. 1965. The answer is C. 1940. Question 300. What information can be found on a voter information card? A. Confirms that your name is on the voters list. B. States when you vote. C. States where you vote. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 301. Which one of these is the Canadian icon? A. The national flag. B. The crown. C. The snowbirds. D. The arms. The answer is C. The snowbirds. Question 302. What is a due process? A. The government must respect all of the legal rights a person is entitled to under the law. B. The rule of law and freedom under the law. C. The impartial manner in which the laws are administered. D. None of these. The answer is A. The government must respect all of the legal rights a person is entitled to under the law. Question 303. Who of the following can help you with legal problems? A. Politicians. B. Lawyers. C. Members of Parliament. D. The police. The answer is B. Lawyers. Question 304. Who do we profess our loyalty to in Canada? A. The Canadian flag. B. A person who represents all Canadians. C. Geopolitical entities. D. The Canadian Constitution. The answer is B. A person who represents all Canadians. Question 305. What is the last line of our national anthem? A. God keep our land glorious and free. B. The true north strong and free. C. O Canada, our home and native land. D. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. The answer is D. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Question 306. The arms that can be seen on dollar bills contain symbols of A. Scotland and Ireland. B. England and France. C. Red maple leaves. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 307. What are the members of the House of Commons also known as? A. Commissioners. B. Members of Parliament or MPs. C. Members of the Provincial Parliament, MPPs. D. None of these. The answer is B. Members of Parliament or MPs. Question 308. Who were the United Empire Loyalists? A. People loyal to the Crown. B. The commanders of armies. C. British colonies. D. Aboriginal peoples. The answer is A. People loyal to the Crown. Question 309. Which one of the following governments provides publicly funded education? A. City government. B. Federal government. C. None of these. D. Provincial and territorial governments. The answer is D. Provincial and territorial governments. Question 310. When was Canada's first financial institution opened? A. Early 16th century. B. Late 19th century. C. Late 18th and early 19th centuries. D. Early 18th century. The answer is C. Late 18th and early 19th centuries. Question 311. Who was the first leader of a responsible government in Canada in 1849? A. Louis Riel. B. Sir John A. Macdonald. C. Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine. D. Alec Baldwin. The answer is C. Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine. Question 312. Who are Francophones? A. People speaking French as a first language. B. People who come from France. C. People who are learning French. D. People speaking French as a secondary language. The answer is A. People speaking French as a first language. Question 313. Who recommended that the Upper and Lower Canada be merged and given a responsible government? A. Sir Guy Carleton. B. Lord Durham. C. Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine. D. Sir George Etienne Cartier. The answer is B. Lord Durham. Question 314. How many Canadians served in the World War II? A. More than 1 million. B. Less than 500,000. C. About 900,000. D. About 500,000. The answer is A. More than 1 million. Question 315. What language do more than 3/4 of the people who live in Quebec speak? A. French as their second language. B. French as their first language. C. German as their first language. D. English as their first language. The answer is B. French as their first language. Question 316. What is the National Police Force of Canada, and one of its best-known symbols today? A. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP. B. The South East Mounted Police. C. The Military Police. D. The Northwest Mounted Police. The answer is A. The Royal Canadian Mounted Police, RCMP. Question 317. When did Canada become the official name of the country? A. 1799. B. 1773. C. 1791. D. 1758. The answer is C. 1791. Question 318. What are the 3 levels of government in Canada? A. Federal, provincial and county. B. Federal, state and city. C. Federal, provincial or territorial and municipal. D. Federal, provincial and rural. The answer is C. Federal, provincial or territorial and municipal. Question 19. When were female Canadian citizens over the age of 21 granted the right to vote in federal elections? A. 1933. B. 1928. C. 1818. D. 1918. The answer is D. 1918. Question 320. For how long was the title Dominion of Canada officially used? A. 100 years. B. 250 years. C. 50 years. D. 200 years. The answer is A. 100 years. Question 321. How many judges serve in the Supreme Court of Canada? A. 7. B. 9. C. 10. D. 5. The answer is B. 9. Question 322. Who was Sir Sam Steele? A. A great frontier hero, mounted policeman and soldier of the Queen. B. A military leader of the Métis in the 19th century. C. The first Prime Minister of Canada. D. The father of Manitoba. The answer is A. A great frontier hero, mounted policeman and soldier of the Queen. Question 323. What is the largest religious affiliation in Canada? A. Roman Catholic. B. Hindu. C. Muslim. D. Jewish. The answer is A. Roman Catholic. Question 324. Who suggested the name Dominion of Canada in 1864? A. Sir Leonard Tilley. B. Lord Elgin. C. La Fontaine. D. Sir John Alexander Macdonald. The answer is A. Sir Leonard Tilley. Question 325. What was significant about the Canadian Navy at the end of the Second World War? A. It was the 3rd largest navy in world. B. It was the 4th largest navy in world. C. It was the largest navy in world. D. It was the 2nd largest navy in world. The answer is A. It was the 3rd largest navy in world. Question 326. Which is the most famous invention of research in motion, RIM, a wireless communications company? A. The Canadarm. B. The first wireless voice message. C. The BlackBerry. D. The iPhone. The answer is C. The BlackBerry. Question 327. What are the Métis people a mixture of? A. Aboriginal and European ancestry. B. European and American ancestry. C. American and Indian ancestry. D. Inuit and Indian ancestry. The answer is A. Aboriginal and European ancestry. Question 328. In 1996, at the Olympic Games, which Canadian became a world record sprinter and double Olympic gold medalist? A. Wayne Gretzky. B. LaFontaine. C. Donovan Bailey. D. John Cabot. The answer is C. Donovan Bailey. Question 329. Which was the first province in the Empire to move towards abolition of slavery? A. South Canada. B. Upper Canada. C. North America. D. Lower Canada. The answer is B. Upper Canada. Question 330. Which of the following lists contains for rights that Canadians have? A. The right to go to school, to work, to have a bank account, and to travel. B. The right to be educated in either official language, to vote, to apply for a Canadian passport, and to enter and leave Canada freely. C. The right to travel, to live anywhere, to work anywhere, and to get married. D. The right to have a job, to vote, to drive, and to go to school. The answer is B. The right to be educated in either official language, to vote, to apply for a Canadian passport, and to enter and leave Canada freely. Question 331. Which province is connected to mainland Canada by one of the longest continuous multi-span bridges in the world? A. Prince Edward Island. B. Newfoundland and Labrador. C. Alberta. D. Ontario. The answer is A. Prince Edward Island. Question 332. Who invented the cardiac pacemaker? A. Gabriel Dumont. B. Matthew Evans and Henry Woodward. C. Dr. John A. Hopps. D. Alexander Graham Bell. The answer is C. Dr. John A. Hopps. Question 333. What is significant about the number of people living in Ontario? A. They make up 2/3 of all Canadians. B. They make up 3/4 of all Canadian. C. They make up 1/3 of all Canadians. D. They make up half of all Canadians. The answer is C. They make up 1/3 of all Canadians. Question 334. When asked, who must you tell who you voted for in a federal election? A. A police officer. B. Your employer. C. An Elections Canada official. D. No one. The answer is D. No one. Question 335. Which province has a long history of coal mining, forestry, and agriculture? A. Nova Scotia. B. New Brunswick. C. Prince Edward Island. D. Ontario. The answer is A. Nova Scotia. Question 336. Who were the first people, Aboriginal people, living in Canada? A. American and British. B. Spanish. C. French and Chinese. D. Indians, First Nations and Inuits, Eskimos. The answer is D. Indians, First Nations and Inuits, Eskimos. Question 337. If you are unable to vote on election day, how do you vote? A. Vote at advance polls. B. Forget it. C. Vote the next day after election. D. Vote a week later. The answer is A. Vote at advance polls. Question 338. What is Canada's system of political governance called? A. Monarchy. B. Parliamentary government. C. Democratic process. D. Benevolent dictatorship. The answer is B. Parliamentary government. Question 339. What song is Canada's national anthem? A. God Save the Queen, or King. B. O Canada. C. O Canada. D. Great Canada. The answer is B. O Canada. Question 340. Which of the following people is the father of Confederation? A. Stephen Harper. B. Pierre Trudeau. C. Alexander Mackenzie. D. Sir John A. Macdonald. The answer is D. Sir John A. Macdonald. Question 341. What is the meaning of the phrase, the world's longest undefended border? A. Canada exports billions of dollars worth of energy products to the USA. B. Canada enjoys close relations with the United States. C. Over 3/4 of Canadian exports are destined for the USA. D. Millions of Canadians and Americans cross the border every year in safety. The answer is D. Millions of Canadians and Americans cross the border every year in safety. Question 342. When was the first Representative Assembly in Canada elected? A. 1791. B. 1758. C. 1889. D. 1609. The answer is B. 1758.
Question 343. Which of the following are the provinces responsible for
A. Defense. B. Foreign policy. C. Currency. D. Education. The answer is D. Education. Question 344. How is Canada ranked in terms of geographical size in the world? A. It is the second largest country on Earth. B. It is the smallest country on Earth. C. It is the largest country on Earth. D. It is the seventh largest country on Earth. The answer is A. It is the second largest country on Earth. Question 345. When is Labor Day celebrated in Canada? A. The 1st of July. B. The first Monday of September. C. The 1st of May. D. The third Monday of October. The answer is B. The first Monday of September. Question 346. What did the government do to make immigration to Western Canada easier? A. Use the Great Lakes and Seaway to prairies. B. Built a railway across the prairies. C. Built a highway across the prairies. D. A and C. The answer is B. Built a railway across the prairies. Question 347. What are the three main groups of Aboriginal peoples? A. Métis, Inuit and United Empire Loyalists. B. Acadians, Métis and First Nations. C. Early French settlers, Métis and Indian. D. Métis, First Nations and Inuit. The answer is D. Métis, First Nations and Inuit. Question 348. Which trade spread across Canada, making it important to the economy for over 300 years? A. Beaver fur trade. B. Fisheries. C. Lumber. D. Gold. The answer is A. Beaver fur trade. Question 349. What does the Governor General perform? A. After an election, he or she invites the party who has the most votes to form the new government. B. Signs bills to make them law. C. All of the above. D. None of the above. The answer is C. All of the above. Question 350. When was the Official Languages Act passed? A. 1969. B. 1867. C. 1982. D. 2000. The answer is A. 1969. Question 351. What does BNA stand for? A. British National Alliance. B. British North America Act. C. Black Nation Alliance. D. Bank of National Association. The answer is B. British North America Act. Question 352. How many levels of government are there in Canada? A. 10. B. 5. C. 13. D. 3. The answer is D. 3. Question 353. How are laws passed? A. Signed by the Governor General. B. Read by the House of Commons 3 times. C. Read by the Senate 3 times. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 354. What does Official Language Rights and Minority Language Educational Rights mean? A. English is more important than French in Canada. B. French is more important in Quebec and English is more important in other provinces. C. All languages have equal status in Canada's government. D. French and English have equal status in Parliament and throughout the government. The answer is D. French and English have equal status in Parliament and throughout the government. Question 355. From whom is Canada's tallest mountain named? A. William Logan. B. Louis Riel. C. Terry Fox. D. Wayne Gretzky. The answer is A. William Logan. Question 356. Who signs the bills to make them law? A. The Police Chief. B. Governor General. C. Premier. D. Prime Minister. The answer is B. Governor General. Question 357. What is a noble way to contribute to Canada and an excellent career choice? A. Serve in the regular Canadian Forces. B. Serve on a jury. C. Belong to a union. D. Learn both official languages. The answer is A. Serve in the regular Canadian Forces. Question 358. Which province is Canada's leading wheat producer? A. Manitoba. B. New Brunswick. C. Alberta. D. Saskatchewan. The answer is D. Saskatchewan. Question 359. What does a Member of Parliament do? A. He or she links Canadians to the federal government. B. He or she represents the Queen. C. He or she works for the Governor General. D. He or she liaises with the municipal government. The answer is A. He or she links Canadians to the federal government.
Question 360. Which of the following are Canada's famous writers? A. Sir Ernest Macmillan and Healy Willan. B. Paul Henderson and Mark Tewksbury. C. Joy Kogawa, Michael Ondatya, and Rohinton Mystery. D. Emily Carr and Louis-Philippe Hébert. The answer is C. Joy Kogawa, Michael Ondatya, and Rohinton Mystery.
Question 361. Who was Sir Louis Hippolyte Lafontaine? A. A champion of democracy and Aboriginal rights. B. A champion of democracy and French language rights, and the first leader of a responsible government in the Canadas. C. The first head of state. D. The first French-speaking prime minister. The answer is B. A champion of democracy and French language rights, and the first leader of a responsible government in the Canadas. Question 362. What document made Confederation legal? A. The Immigration Act. B. The British North America Act. C. The Citizenship Act. D. The Charter of Rights and Freedoms. The answer is B. The British North America Act. Question 363. Which port is the largest and busiest in Canada? A. The Port of Halifax. B. The Port of Montreal. C. The Port of Vancouver. D. The Port of Victoria. The answer is C. The Port of Vancouver. Question 364. What did the Canadian Pacific Railway symbolize? A. Easy access to the West Coast. B. What can be achieved by working together? C. Unity. D. Ribbons of steel. The answer is C. Unity. Question 365. What part of the Constitution legally protects basic rights and freedom of Canadians? A. The Canada Charter of Responsibilities. B. The Canada Charter of Rights and Freedoms. C. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. D. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Free Will. The answer is C. The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Question 366. Who started the Marathon of Hope? A. Rick Hansen. B. James Naismith. C. Sir Sam Steele. D. Terry Fox. The answer is D. Terry Fox. Question 367. What are some of the rights and privileges of a Canadian citizen? A. The right to be a candidate. B. The right to vote in federal, provincial and territorial election. C. The right to enter, remain in, or leave Canada. D. All of the above. The answer is D. All of the above. Question 368. How many votes can a voter have in a federal election? A. It does not matter. B. 3. C. 1. D. 2. The answer is C. 1. Question 369. How much of Canadian exports are destined for the USA? A. Over 1/3. B. Over 3/4. C. 2/3. D. Half. The answer is B. Over 3/4. Question 370. Where do you go to vote? A. Polling station. B. City Hall. C. Police station. D. Fire station. The answer is A. Polling station. Question 371. As what have poets and songwriters hailed Canada? A. Peace, order and good government. B. The great outdoors. C. The great dominion. D. The land of the brave. The answer is C. The great dominion. Question 372. Where did the early European settlers live? A. Western Canada. B. Northwest Canada. C. Northern Canada. D. Eastern and Central Canada. The answer is D. Eastern and Central Canada. Question 373. Canadians work hard to respect. A. Marxism. B. Pluralism. C. Capitalism. D. Individualism. The answer is B. Pluralism. Question 374. Which of the following was a key phrase in the British North America Act, Canada's original constitutional document in 1867? A. Geopolitical entity. B. Trade and communications. C. Peace, order, and good government. D. Discipline, education, and good public. The answer is C. Peace, order, and good government. Question 375. Today, diversity enriches the lives of Canadians. Where is diversity reflected the most? A. Countryside areas. B. Cities. C. Towns. D. Mountains. The answer is B. Cities. Question 376. What does the MLA stand for? A. Member of Legal Aid. B. Member of the Legislative Assembly. C. Member of Land Association. D. Member of Land Aid. The answer is B. Member of the Legislative Assembly. Question 377. Who do provincial members of the Legislative or National Assemblies represent? A. Federal and provincial governments. B. Everyone who lives in the federal electoral district. C. Everyone who lives in the provincial or territorial electoral district. D. Everyone who lives in the municipal electoral district. The answer is C. Everyone who lives in the provincial or territorial electoral district. Question 378. What is a ballot? A. A form that tells you when and where to vote. B. A dance. C. A form for voting. D. A form to count the number of votes. The answer is C. A form for voting. Question 379. Who elects the members to the House of Commons in Ottawa, and to the provincial and territorial legislatures? A. The government employees. B. The government. C. Prime Minister. D. The people. The answer is D. The people. Question 380. In what industry do most Canadians work? A. Tourism. B. Natural resources mining. C. Service. D. Manufacturing and technology. The answer is C. Service. Question 381. What is the final step before a bill becomes law? A. Approved by the Queen. B. Approved by the Prime Minister. C. Approved by the Governor-General. D. Approved by a judge. The answer is C. Approved by the Governor-General. Question 382. When you vote on election day, what do you do? A. Go to the voting station, tell them who you are and mark your X, give the ballot back to the attendant. B. Go to the voting station, remove one ballot, and after marking your X and deposit it in the ballot box. C. Go to the voting station, take your voter's card with proof of identity, highlight your choice on the ballot and deposit it in the box. D. Go to the voting station, take your voter information card and ID, mark an X next to your chosen candidate, fold the ballot and present it to the poll officials, who will tear off the ballot number and give you the ballot to deposit in the box. The answer is D. Go to the voting station, take your voter information card and ID, mark an X next to your chosen candidate, fold the ballot and present it to the poll officials, who will tear off the ballot number and give you the ballot to deposit in the box. Question 383. Which of the following criterion gives a Canadian the right to vote? A. Owning a house. B. Being on an official voters list. C. Having a driver's license. D. Being an immigrant. The answer is B. Being on an official voters list. Question 384. What is a fundamental characteristic of the Canadian heritage and identity? A. Maple syrup. B. Multiculturalism. C. Habeas corpus. D. Hockey. The answer is B. Multiculturalism. Question 385. Which legal documents protect the rights of Canadians with regards to the official languages? A. British Charter of Rights and Freedoms. B. Canadian Constitution and Official Languages Act. C. Canadian Languages Act. D. Official English Act. The answer is B. Canadian Constitution and Official Languages Act. Question 386. What are the Atlantic provinces? A. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Prince Edward Island and Quebec. B. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. C. Alberta, Saskatchewan and Manitoba. D. Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Quebec and Ontario. The answer is B. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. Question 387. What is written on an election ballot? A. The names of the candidates in your election district. B. Who you should vote for. C. The date and time you are allowed to vote. D. Where you should vote. The answer is A. The names of the candidates in your election district. Question 388. What is the most popular spectator sport of Canada? A. Soccer. B. Canadian football. C. Hockey. D. Basketball. The answer is C. Hockey. Question 389. Which of the following represents protecting and enjoying the heritage and environment in Canada? A. Government responsibilities. B. Citizenship responsibilities and the laws of Canada. C. Laws of Canada. D. Citizenship responsibilities. The answer is D. Citizenship responsibilities. Question 390. Who are the Québécois? A. All the French-speaking people in Canada are called Québécois. B. They form a nation within a united Canada. C. They are descendants of British settlers who live in Quebec. D. They are the Canadians who only speak French. The answer is B. They form a nation within a united Canada. Question 391. Approximately how many Canadians served in the First World War? A. About 170,000. B. About 10,000. C. More than 60,000. D. More than 600,000. The answer is D. More than 600,000. Question 392. When must federal elections be held? A. Whenever the Prime Minister calls the election. B. About every 4 years. C. When the MPs want a new Prime Minister. D. On the third Monday in October every 4 years following the most recent general election. The answer is D. On the third Monday in October every 4 years following the most recent general election. Question 393. Which phrase embodied the version for the Dominion of Canada? A. The land of the strong and free. B. Dominion from sea to sea, and from the river to the end of the earth. C. Dominion from ocean to ocean. D. O Canada, my home and native land. The answer is B. Dominion from sea to sea, and from the river to the end of the earth. Question 394. How are your rights and freedoms protected? A. By the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. B. By the Queen. C. By citizenship. D. None of the above. The answer is A. By the Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Question 395. After a federal election, which party forms the new government? A. The party with the most elected representatives becomes the party in power. B. The Queen picks a party to run the government. C. The premiers of each province pick a party to run the government. D. The Governor-General proposes a law for elected officials to become the government body. The answer is A. The party with the most elected representatives becomes the party in power. Question 396. Who do Canadians vote for in a federal election? A. A candidate whom they want to represent them in Parliament. B. All candidates in their electoral district. C. The best speaker running the election campaign. D. Someone to become the premier of the province. The answer is A. A candidate whom they want to represent them in Parliament. Question 397. What year was Confederation? A. 1867. B. 1687. C. 1876. D. 1786. The answer is A. 1867. Question 398. Which of the following is the responsibility of the federal government? A. Highways. B. Currency. C. Health. D. Education. The answer is B. Currency. Question 399. What is an electoral district? A. A geographical area where the politicians reside. B. An area where politicians work. C. A geographical area represented by a member of the House of Commons. D. The area where voting takes place in your locality. The answer is C. A geographical area represented by a member of the House of Commons. Question 400. What is the capital city of Canada? A. Ottawa. B. Victoria. C. Toronto. D. Ontario. The answer is A. Ottawa. Question 401. Prairies province includes A. Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan. B. Ontario, Quebec, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick. C. New Brunswick, Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island. D. Ontario, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Alberta. The answer is A. Manitoba, Alberta, Saskatchewan. Question 402. Which province is the most easterly point in Canada? A. Prince Edward Island. B. New Brunswick. C. Nova Scotia. D. Newfoundland and Labrador. The answer is D. Newfoundland and Labrador. Question 403. Where is Canada's largest naval base located? A. Vancouver. B. Quebec City. C. Halifax. D. Toronto. The answer is C. Halifax. Question 404. Which one of the following is the most populated province in Canada? A. Quebec. B. British Columbia. C. Ontario. D. Alberta. The answer is C. Ontario. Question 405. Why did thousands of miners come to the Yukon in the 1890s? A. To build the Yukon Railway. B. For the gold rush. C. Because of the discovery of oil. D. To build the Pacific Railway. The answer is B. For the gold rush. Question 406. Julia is a descendant of French colonist in the Maritime Province. What is she called? A. Métis. B. Acadian. C. Inuit. D. Indian. The answer is B. Acadian. Question 407. Which of the following symbolizes close ties between Canada and the U.S.? A. The Peace Arch in Blaine, Washington. B. Statue of Liberty in New York. C. International Peace Garden crossing between Canada and the United States. D. White Pass in Yukon. The answer is A. The Peace Arch in Blaine, Washington. Question 408. When did Canada's modern energy industry begin? A. The economic booming of the 1890s and early 1900s. B. After the War of 1812. C. Since the discovery of oil in Alberta in 1947. D. After the Second World War. The answer is C. Since the discovery of oil in Alberta in 1947. Question 409. Who was the first female Member of Parliament? A. Agnes MacPhail. B. Mary and Shad Carey. C. Laura Secord. D. Alice Munro. The answer is A. Agnes MacPhail. Question 410. The Peace Tower was built in memory of A. The First World War. B. The Second World War. C. The Korean War. D. The Battle of the Plains of Abraham. The answer is A. The First World War. Question 411. In 1939, Canada joined with its democratic allies to fight A. The USA. B. Japan. C. Nazi. D. Korea. The answer is C. Nazi. Question 412. How many Canadians have died in wars till now? A. 60,000. B. 110,000. C. More than 1 million. D. 40,000. The answer is B. 110,000. Question 413. Name a Canadian heroine who warned James Fitzgibbon of a planned American attack during the War of 1812. A. Agnes MacPhail. B. Mary and Shad Carey. C. Laura Secord. D. Alice Munro. The answer is C. Laura Secord. Question 414. What are the central provinces? A. British Columbia and Ontario. B. Alberta and Ontario. C. Quebec and Ontario. D. British Columbia and Alberta. The answer is C. Quebec and Ontario.